Hello, and thank you for joining us today to complete your Class of 2019 Tennessee Promise College meeting. This is a great way for you to get the updates that we shared at our meetings, which now have concluded, in order to ensure that you are maintaining your Tennessee Promise scholarship eligibility for the full duration of your scholarship. If you do have any questions at any time throughout the semester or even past this semester, or any questions that you'd like to follow up with after the webinar, please feel free to email anyone on the tnAchieves staff. We are happy to help in any way that we can. So first of all, I want to say congratulations. All of you are high school graduates and you are now college freshmen. We are extremely proud of you for all that you have accomplished so far, and we hope that your college career so far has gotten off to a great start, and we are so excited to continue on this journey with you and be in your corner as you are continuing with your college education. So again, congratulations. You have accomplished so much, but you are on your way to accomplishing a lot more. A little recap of Tennessee Promise. So Tennessee Promise is a last dollar scholarship that will fund the remaining tuition and mandatory fee balance after any state or federal scholarships and grants have been applied. So Tennessee Promise is last dollar. And as you are probably aware, and you remember from our meeting in the spring, Tennessee Promise is applied directly to your financial aid account at your post-secondary institution. And this is how it will work each semester or term that you are enrolled. So it will always be a last dollar scholarship, which covers the remaining tuition and mandatory fee balance after your state and federal scholarships and grants have been applied. So please remember that as you are continuing throughout the spring semester and the fall semester of next year, that it is last dollar. So just make sure that you are remaining in close communication with your college financial aid office prior to each semester to ensure that they have all of your information in regards to your financial aid file. So what I'd like to discuss today are a couple of upcoming requirements that you as the student must meet in order to maintain your Tennessee Promise scholarship eligibility. So you all applied for Tennessee Promise last November and you have already met several requirements. You completed your FAFSA last year, you attended your mandatory meeting in the spring, and you all met the July 1st, 2019 community service deadline. But there are going to be continual eligibility requirements that you must meet in order to maintain your eligibility. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is your FAFSA. All of you filed the 2019-2020 FAFSA last year by February 1. But the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid, and that is an annual financial aid application that you have to complete each year in order to receive scholarships and grants for the next academic year. So this is an incredibly important requirement that you have to meet in order to maintain your Tennessee Promise scholarship eligibility. So this year, you will have to complete the 2020-2021 FAFSA online at fafsa.gov by February 1, 2020. One important thing to note is the FAFSA for the upcoming year, 2020-2021, will open October 1, 2019. So beginning October 1, 2019, you can begin filing your 2020-2021 FAFSA. In regards to FAFSA completion, it will be a lot like the FAFSA that you completed the last year, but you will just need to make sure that you are filing the correct year's FAFSA, 2020-2021. You will also need to utilize you and your parent or guardian's 2018 tax information. So this is going to be based off 2018 tax information. I encourage you to go ahead and get your 2018 taxes in order to make sure that you are ready to go when you are ready to file the FAFSA at FAFSA.gov. So begin gathering the documents such as 2018 W-2s, 2018 tax returns. Those are documents that you will need in order to successfully file the FAFSA. You also need to make sure that you are going to the correct website, FAFSA.gov. That is the website you should have gone to last year. You always need to remember that this is the free application for federal student aid. You will never have to pay to file the FAFSA. So please make sure that you go to FAFSA.gov, as this is the correct website that you must go to in order to successfully file the FAFSA. Before you filed your 2019-2020 FAFSA, you were required to create an FSA ID. That is a Federal Student Aid Identification. You created one, and your parent or your guardian also created an FSA ID. The FSA ID is extremely important because this is how you will log on to your FAFSA, as well as how you will electronically sign your FAFSA once it has been completed. Since you have already created your FSA ID last year, you will not need to create a new FSA ID. However, you do need to make sure that you find your FSA ID you created last year, because that is what will be associated with your Social Security number. So please make sure that while you are gathering your 2018 tax information, you also obtain your FSA ID information for you and your parent or your guardian. If you do have trouble accessing your FSA ID, then you will need to contact the FSA ID helpline, and they will be able to help reset your FSA ID information or help guide you on the right path in regards to accessing your FSA ID. So there is an option available for you to seek help if you are having trouble obtaining your FSA ID. Before you file your FAFSA, you will need to go to FAFSA.gov. You will use your FSA ID information to log into your federal student aid login, and once you log on, you will have the option to select the 2020-2021 FAFSA. Please make sure that you are filing the correct year's FAFSA. You will see the 2019-2020 FAFSA there, but it should say that the application has been received. So make sure you do select the 2020-2021 FAFSA. You will need your parent or guardian's tax information in order to successfully file the FAFSA in most cases, because the federal government considers you a dependent of your parent until the age of 24. So you will need to have your parents' information in order to ensure that your FAFSA does get completed. If you need help with filing your FAFSA, then I would encourage you to reach out to tnAchieves or your college financial aid office. Your college may be providing FAFSA completion assistance events, or they may offer appointments for you to seek help with filing your FAFSA. So I would check with your college to find out if they are offering any events and to request information on getting FAFSA completion assistance if needed. But again, this is your next deadline. It is mandatory that you file your 2020-2021 FAFSA by February 1, 2020. Failure to file the correct year's FAFSA by the deadline will result in the permanent loss of your Tennessee Promise scholarship eligibility. So please make sure that this is something that you are being proactive with doing, that you are also making sure that this is something that you are getting done sooner rather than later. And tnAchieves always encourages you to file your FAFSA as soon as possible. It opens October 1, and you can file the FAFSA until February 1 for Tennessee Promise eligibility. There are some scholarships that are awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. So the sooner that you do complete your FAFSA, the better your chances of maybe qualifying for additional scholarships or grants. But again, February 1, make sure it's the 2020-2021 FAFSA online at FAFSA.gov using 2018 tax information. The next mandatory requirement that you must meet is to make sure that you are completing your next set of community service hours. So as you know, community service is a requirement for the Tennessee Promise Scholarship, and it is a continuous requirement. All students are required to volunteer 8 hours in their community and turn them into Tennessee Achieves by each deadline in order to maintain scholarship eligibility. So your next set of 8 service hours are due by December 2nd, 2019. This is the deadline for spring 2020 eligibility, which means that you must volunteer in your communities now and utilize the Tennessee Achieves Community Service Form by December 2nd to turn in your hours to maintain your scholarship eligibility. Any hours that you have volunteered since July 2nd will count for the spring 2020 community service deadline. So the time frame for doing your service is going to be July 2nd through December 2nd, 2019. You are encouraged to be proactive. Do not wait until the final month or final few weeks to volunteer. Also remember that we are pretty open to what you can do as community service. We encourage you to give back locally, give back to the communities that have shaped you and have helped you grow. Also make sure that you are doing something that is directly benefiting your community. So you cannot do something that is work for an individual, for example. So you cannot mow your neighbor's grass for 8 hours and count that as community service. You can also not be paid to do your volunteer hours. This is a strict volunteer opportunity, so no form of compensation is allowed in order for these hours to count. And you also must have a direct supervisor over the hours that you are volunteering, and your direct supervisor cannot be a family member. So it could not be your mom, your dad, or grandparent, aunt, uncle. The supervisor cannot be related to you. So please remember that as you are finding service opportunities. And again, be proactive. Find the service opportunities now, because I do not want you to wait until the last minute to try to find hours and to submit them. So be proactive, do this now, but the deadline is December 2nd. Failure to turn in 8 hours of community service by December 2nd will result in the permanent loss of your Tennessee Promise eligibility. And it is important to note that once you lose Tennessee Promise scholarship eligibility, it cannot be regained. So again, I strongly encourage you, be proactive, reach out to Tennessee Achieves if you need help finding hours in your community. You can also reach out to your college. There are several organizations on campus that may need volunteers. There also may be a student organization that is focused on volunteerism and helping students find volunteer opportunities in the community. You can also job shadow as community service, and I think that this is a great way for you to meet this requirement and also helps you to build your resume. So for example, if you are wanting to be a teacher, you could volunteer 8 hours at your elementary school or the high school that you graduated from, and that would be job shadowing, but it also meets the Tennessee Promise community service requirement. If you would like to be a nurse, see if you could volunteer with a clinic or a hospital or some other healthcare organization that will give you some insight into the nursing field. So find an organization or a business in your community to job shadow. That is perfectly fine. You just need to make sure that you do have a direct supervisor over the hours that you are job shadowing. Again, please remember that you will volunteer and turn your service hours into Tennessee Achieves by the deadline. So it is always a two-step process: volunteer and submit. To submit your hours, you will go to tnAchieves.org. From any page on our website, in the upper right-hand corner, there will be a Submit Community Service button. If you click that button, it will take you to the community service login, and you all should be familiar with the community service form since you did meet the July 1 deadline. You will insert your name, your date of birth, and the last 4 of your social, and it will take you to the actual community service form to answer a few questions, which includes you providing your direct supervisor's name, contact number, and contact email address, and a brief description of where you volunteered and what you did during your time volunteering. So please make sure that you do remember it is a two-step process: complete and submit. Community service is a continuous requirement, as I said before, so you must submit 8 hours for eligibility prior to each term that you are enrolled. If you are a TCAT student or you are attending a community college or four-year institution and you do plan to utilize one of your Tennessee Promise semesters during the summer of 2020, then after December 2nd, you must meet an April 1 deadline. That is only for students that are planning to utilize the Tennessee Promise Scholarship for summer 2020 and TCAT students, since you do have continuous enrollment in your TCAT program. But your set of 8 service hours would be due by December 2nd, April 1 for summer, and July 1 for the fall 2020 semester or term. So please remember that if you are planning to utilize summer, you have to meet the April 1 deadline. If you are not planning to utilize summer and you are not enrolled at a TCAT, you must meet December 2nd, and then your next set of 8 service hours will be due July 1. And for both the April 1 and the July 1, 2020 community service deadlines, you can begin volunteering your hours December 3rd, so the day after your spring 2020 hours are due. In regards to your eligibility as a college student with Tennessee Promise, there are several things that you must make sure that you are maintaining each term or semester in order to remain eligible. So a couple of the academic and enrollment requirements that you must make sure that you are meeting each semester is that you must maintain full-time enrollment each term. So for my students that are enrolled at a TCAT, you must always be enrolled in a full-time program. I would work closely with your program director to ensure that you are meeting all of the requirements for the program and that you are continuously enrolled in your full-time program. For students that are attending a community college or a four-year institution, then you must maintain full-time enrollment, which means you must be enrolled in at least 12 credit hours for each semester or term. So this is extremely important that you make sure that you are enrolling in at least 12 credit hours for every semester. If you are not enrolling in 12 hours, you will be considered part-time, which will terminate your Tennessee Promise eligibility. If you enroll in 12 hours and you drop a course throughout any part of the semester, that will put you to part-time status, which would then terminate your Tennessee Promise eligibility. So you must attend and participate in your courses for the entire term or the entire semester. And you also need to make sure that you are attending your classes, because attendance is key to making sure that you are successful in college. If you do not attend your classes, it could result in you being dropped from the course by your college, which could result in your Tennessee Promise ineligibility. So please make sure that you are going to your classes, you are showing up, and you are attending and participating. This will help to set you up to be successful. It will get the attention of your professors or your program directors, and it also will ensure that you are on the right track to having a passing grade in the course, which leads me to my next requirement, is that you must maintain at least a 2.0 GPA or satisfactory academic progress. So community college and four-year institution students, you must maintain at least a 2.0 GPA, which is the equivalent of a C average. For students enrolled at a TCAT, you must maintain satisfactory academic progress for each term. So please make sure that you are always aware of where you stand in each of your courses. I would encourage you to make sure you are keeping up with your grades, and around midterms, make sure that you are assessing so that you know where you stand in the class. If you ever feel like you are struggling in a course, please do not stop attending the class, because that could have an effect on your Tennessee Promise scholarship eligibility. Your professors or your program directors want you to be successful. That is what they are there for. If you do feel like that you are struggling in a class, please make sure you are reaching out to your professors, that you are utilizing your on-campus resources such as the writing lab or the tutoring center. And please make sure that you are letting tnAchieves know how we can help you. You have so many people on your team rooting you on, so please do not feel like you are alone if you are struggling in a course. I encourage you to implement study groups and really take advantage of the writing lab or the tutoring center on your college campus. Also, be proactive. Ask questions. If you do feel like you are struggling, go to your professor and ask how you can better comprehend the subject that you are trying to learn. This will be something that I think that you will find beneficial, and it can help you in the long run. You also need to make sure that you are checking your emails regularly. I cannot stress that enough. As you know, tnAchieves is a very email-oriented organization, and we will email you each week with information on college success, your college enrollment, and the next steps that you need to be meeting in order to ensure that you are on the right track and maintaining your Tennessee Promise Scholarship eligibility. We also will be sending you emails in regards to specific reminders. For example, if you do not submit your community service, then you will receive several email reminders and text message reminders until we have record that you have completed the required 8 hours of community service. The same is for FAFSA. We will email and text message you until we have record that you have completed your 2020-2021 FAFSA. And those emails are directed towards you. So please make sure that if you are receiving any sort of reminder emails, that you are satisfying the requirement that the email is stating that you will need to do. We are here to help you, and we are here to guide you. So we want you to be successful, which is why we communicate with you weekly. If your information changes at any time, let's say your email address updates or your phone number updates, please reach out to your tnAchieves Complete Coach. Your Complete Coach emails you weekly, and we want to know if your information updates. So if we need to get a hold of you, we will be able to. So please notify us of any updates in regards to your email or your phone number. Again, congratulations to all of you for enrolling in college and beginning your fall semester. But the goal that all of us have in regards to college is to graduate college. So that is our main goal, is complete college and graduate. And most of the colleges have an academic plan for you that you should be following each term, regardless of if you plan to transfer after obtaining your associate's degree or your diploma, or if you plan to enter into the workforce. There is an academic plan that is designed for you. It is important that before each semester, whenever class registration opens, that you are meeting with an academic advisor. Let the academic advisor know what your intended major is, what your 5-year plan is. They will ensure that you are taking the correct classes for the degree or the diploma that you should be completing in order to achieve these goals. So make sure that you are being proactive and setting up academic advisor appointments before you register for your classes each term. You will probably see several reminders from your college around the campus, and you will probably receive emails from your college in regards to registering for the next semester or term. So make sure that you are checking your college emails and make sure that you are staying aware of the marketing materials around your college campus so that you know when class registration opens and when you can start meeting with your academic advisors. Now is also a great time for you to be exploring what interests you. Some of you may be taking general education courses, and that is perfectly fine. But now is the time to really hone in on what may interest you and what you could see yourself making a career out of. If you have any questions, then you can meet with your academic advisor or the counseling office now, and they can help you try to assess what interests you and what might be the best fit for you. So please make sure that you are being proactive and meeting with that college academic advisor. And staying on your graduation plan. Again, Tennessee Promise is a last dollar scholarship, and the scholarship duration of eligibility is up to 5 semesters at a community college or up to 8 trimesters at a TCAT. So please keep that in mind as you are planning out your college career at your current institution. 5 semesters at a community college or 4-year institution, 8 trimesters at the TCAT. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask us on the webinar. You can use the question on your control panel to ask any questions that you may have. You can also email anyone on the Tennessee Achieves staff. We do encourage you to follow us on social media. You will see that there are several outlets that we use. We do use Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. So please find us using the handles below that you will see on your screen. This is a great way for you to keep up with what we are doing. And also, we do tweet and give out information regarding deadline and meeting reminders, community service, and job shadowing opportunities. And it also allows you the opportunity to ask Tennessee Achieves questions on a social media platform. On your screen, you will see all of the requirements. I would encourage you to make sure that you have taken great notes throughout this presentation, but make sure that you are writing down that your next eligibility requirement is that you must file your 2020-2021 free application for federal student aid by February 1, 2020. You will go to FAFSA.gov and you will utilize 2018 tax information. You will need your federal student aid identification to log in, so your FSA ID. You will need your FSA ID, and your parent or guardian will need their FSA ID that was created last year prior to you completing the 2019-2020 FAFSA. So obtain your FSA ID, go to FAFSA.gov, utilizing 2018 tax information to complete the 2021 FAFSA by February 1. Do this as soon as possible. Do not wait until the last day to file your FAFSA. Failure to meet the FAFSA deadline will result in the permanent loss of your eligibility. You also need to make sure that you are being proactive and finding community service opportunities now. Your next community service deadline is December 2nd, 2019. Remember, it is a 2-step process. Volunteer 8 hours in your community and submit them to Tennessee Achieves using our online community service form by each deadline. Keep in mind that community service is a continuous requirement. You must volunteer 8 hours and submit them to Tennessee Achieves prior to each term that you are enrolled by the deadline. So please make sure that you are meeting this requirement each semester or each term. Also, make sure that you are maintaining satisfactory academic progress and that you are always enrolled as a full-time student at your post-secondary institution. Check your emails regularly as well. If your information changes at any time, notify Tennessee Achieves. We are so proud of you for everything that you have accomplished, and we are so excited for you as you continue throughout your fall semester and you start to begin your spring 2020 semester. We hope that the remainder of your semester is successful, and if you need any help at any time, please feel free to reach out to Tennessee Achieves. We will be in touch with you weekly, so please make sure that if you have any questions, you reply to one of our emails. We are always here for you. Please do not forget that. Congratulations to each of you again. We are so proud of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will talk to you soon. Thank you.